He's telling Justin Jefferson, you don't want to get physical with me. I mean, he's pushing Olabisi Johnson to the ground. I mean, he's like, he's out there. I mean, they're having to break him up with somebody every day, man.
You're making me a fan now.
Chip.
Oh, I know.
Here we go.
So here goes the matchup. I know you talked about Andrew Booth showing out in practice, coming out being a star, but you also hear a couple things about Lewis Cine and how much. I know you listen to All Things Covered. You have to with Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden.
Yeah, definitely.
But how Patrick Peterson was talking about how Lewis Cine is making an impact already since day one, since they met, as already coming in almost like a veteran presence, like at safety with Harrison Smith, which is insane to think about how good that they can be depending on how much how well that he's doing now. But here's the battle: who has the most star potential between Andrew Booth Jr. and Lewis Cine? If you think about 5 years down the road, who do you think is the standout? Who's selling the most jerseys?
5 years down the road, man. To be honest with you, bro, I think I'm still gonna go with Booth Jr., man.
Oh, okay. I did not expect you to say that.
I think I am, man. I think I'm gonna go with Booth Jr. I think it's just, and this is why, man. Like, and we don't have a lot of evidence. Obviously, we have no evidence yet on these two guys when it comes to the NFL because they're both rookies, obviously. But I just think, and Booth does have injury issues. I see somebody commented that, Cowboys fan. He definitely has injury issues since high school, so that is one thing. But let's just say they're healthy through their career, man. They bless. They get to play their career full strength. I just think cornerbacks just get a little more reputation of being locked down. When they can become a lockdown cornerback, man, they get paid really good. They're just they become more popular, like the Jalen Ramseys and things like that. And I think, man, I just think he's a dog, bro. I really do. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I think Lewis Cine is gonna definitely play his part and definitely gonna make an impact, man. But Booth Jr. is definitely looking like the best pick we made, man. And I know it's early, man. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, because every day so far in camp, Andrew Booth has got an interception, or he's either trying to start a fight with one of the receivers, man. I mean, they got to break him. He's telling Justin Jefferson, you don't want to get physical with me. I mean, he's pushing Olabisi Johnson to the ground. I mean, he's like, he's out there. I mean, they're having to break him up with somebody every day, man.
You're making me a fan now.
Hey, he's out there with a chip, bro. He's like, I'm here for business. Like, I don't care. Like, it's going down like that, man. And hey, I respect it. You know what I mean? I love players like that, So
here's the thing, and I think this is the first time you're probably hearing this from me, but I think it's important just to bring up, and for those that haven't heard me kind of make this, I'm not going to get in a rant about it because there's plenty of videos of me going in a rant about it, but just for transparency purposes on Lewis Cine and the rest of the Georgia Bulldogs' crazy defense last year. Newsflash, Eagles fans, I got a lot of new guys over here. Not all them players are going to be good, man.
Yeah.
History repeats itself. In college, it's all about the system and how they're coached. Unfortunately, if it was all going to work out for everybody the way that it was, Jermaine Johnson that transferred to Florida State is probably the one that's going to have the most success out of all these guys because he got away from the system and performed with a weaker team. It's hard to stand out. This is like the old saying goes. This is why a lot of people like, homeboy that chose to play at Jackson State instead of at Florida State. A lot of those guys like to stand out on smaller teams because they know they're going to get the most or. But what's so impressive about Jermaine Johnson is he got away from the system, went to a sucky school, and he still was a first-round pick. The Jordan Davises of the world, the Nakobe Deans of the world, Lewis Cine, Christian Harris, Travis Hunter, thank you.
Yes.
And all these guys that got Quay Walker that's up for the Packers right now. The other defensive tackle that was up there, Devontae Wyatt. not all these guys are going to be good, man. You're just flipping a coin and hoping that defensive mindset that they had at Georgia and the dog that no pun intended, but that dog mentality that they had at Georgia stays with them for these teams.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's going to be the case. So
me neither, man. I'm with you, man. I agree. I have to agree. And history backs you up too. You know what I mean?
Repeats
it's
itself.
just the facts. It's just the facts, man. It's what it is. Hopefully we do get the guy, and Cine is the guy. But I don't know, man. I think Booth's gonna be better.
So here's why I can make a case for Cine.
Okay, let me hear it.
I like your Andrew Booth pick, and I've seen him play enough, and I know that he has flaws in his game. Not the fact that the right coach can't make him grow, and Patrick Peterson is there as well, who's the best person to learn from and elevate your game. Lewis Cine could probably have a breakout season because what was the weakest part of Georgia? The secondary. And he was one of the brightest spots in the secondary. So there's a case to be made that I know we talk about history repeats itself, but he wasn't part of that front seven. He had nothing to do with that front seven being in the secondary. So let's see how he pans out too. So I think I'm gonna have to rely on Lewis Cine at this point. You're going Andrew Booth, but
I'm going Andrew Booth, baby.
Yeah,
got to.
But this is why I love having these conversations with people that are not fans of my team and just me loving football the way that I do. Now I get to pay attention to what you say, and it's like, all right, he's doing this in practice. I can't watch all 32 teams. I have a full-time job too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
for sure, man.
But this is why it's cool that you're focusing on your team, and I get to come to you and be like, hey man, what you seeing out of camp so far? And you can tell me, hey, Andrew Booth's been balling out. I would have never known unless I asked.
Yeah. And just another nugget for everybody watching, man, coming out of Vikings camp for just a player that was under the radar, man, on our wide receiving core is KJ Osborne. So I'm sure people heard
we've been talking about
year.
him a lot lately, dude.
Yeah, so KJ Osborne is doing the most this year, man. Every day, like he's leaving defenders on, flat-footed out there, man, making it happen, So that's another player to watch out for, man, as a third wide receiver that possibly is going to be sliding to the 2 spot, you know what I mean, when Thielen heads out the door, or might just mess around and just get it early, and move Thielen to just red zone and stuff. It just depends, because Thielen is getting up there in age. He's not considered old yet. He still has gas in the tank, but the way KJ's playing, man, he's definitely out there trying to prove something. So, don't be surprised, man, if y'all hear KJ's name this year turning up out there, man, for sure.
Yeah, KJ Osborne was super impressive when he had to step in for, how injured that you guys were at the receiver position. So I like the kid. We talked about him, just recently on our other podcast. So that's good to hear.